Welcome to the Sleep Dives channel. We're diving back into profound stories by John Willis and Derek Lewis. And you know, this book is just incredible at showing how some of history's biggest moments, well, they often hinge on people we've never even heard of. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to uncover some of these hidden figures, we'll look at the data, we'll reveal the real woman behind an iconic image, and we'll explore a time when the quality of your work was, no joke, a matter of life and death.
All right, so here's the plan. We've got three amazing stories to unpack: the unseen figures of data, the real Rosie the Riveter, and the life or death mission over the Himalayas. And then we'll pull it all together and see what it means for us today.
So, our first story kicks off with something that sounds almost ridiculously simple: figuring out standard clothing sizes for American women. But what should have been a straightforward project turned into this decade-long bureaucratic nightmare. And right in the middle of it all was one of the most brilliant minds of her time.
And this whole process, it was just agonizing. So they did one study, but it was flawed, totally skewed. So they start a new one. And it took 11 years. 11 years of just wrangling between the government and the mail order companies to agree on a standard. And then what happens? In 1970, they make it voluntary. And by 1983, poof, the whole thing is abandoned. All that effort, all that time, all that data, just gone.
But here's what makes this story truly tragic. Meet Lola Shoup. She had a master's degree in both mathematics and chemistry. Okay? She was publishing papers on mind-bendingly complex stuff like electron diffraction, and what was her task? To argue about dress sizes with retailers. It's just a staggering mismatch of talent and task.
Yeah, the authors of profound stories really don't hold back. They call it what it is: disgusting. And it's hard to disagree. It was a complete waste of a world-class intellect, a brilliant scientific mind just bogged down in commercial arguments and endless red tape.
And here's where the story takes a turn. In 1932, Lola Shoup married a man you've probably heard of, Dr. W. Edwards Deming. And you know what happened? From that moment on, even though she kept working for years, her name just disappears. It never again shows up as a co-author on a published paper. She was completely erased from the professional record, becoming a truly unseen figure.
So Lola Shoup was a figure hidden away in the data. Our next story is about someone who was hidden in plain sight. This is a crazy story of mistaken identity behind one of the most famous images of the entire 20th century. We all know the poster, but almost nobody knows the real person.
Yep, there she is, Rosie the Riveter. I mean, what an icon, right? A symbol of female strength and patriotism during World War II. But here's the fun fact. This poster was originally just for internal use at Westinghouse factories. It was only on display for 2 weeks. Its fame today is something else entirely.
And this is the real person. This is Naomi Parker, photographed in 1942 working on a lathe in California. Her picture was sent out to newspapers across the country. An artist saw it, and that became the direct inspiration for the poster. But for decades, nobody knew it was her. In fact, everyone thought it was a completely different woman.
It took more than 70 years to set the record straight. Get this, in 2011, Naomi herself saw the photo at a park, mislabeled with another woman's name. She even contacted them with the original newspaper clipping to prove it was her, and they basically ignored her. It took a determined professor to finally track her down in 2015 and get the truth out there.
So when a newspaper finally asked Naomi, who was 95 at the time, how it felt to finally be recognized, to be seen for who she really was after all those decades, her answer was just one perfect, powerful word: victory.
Now, the work done by all the real Rosies, like Naomi Parker, wasn't just about inspiring posters. It had very real life or death consequences. And you could not find a better example of this than the skies over the Himalayas, on a supply route so dangerous they just called it the hump.
Let's just start with the human cost, because it's staggering. Over 1,500 crew members and passengers died flying this route. It was easily one of the deadliest assignments in the entire war.
But look at what they accomplished. Despite that incredible danger, they managed to fly 650,000 tons of crucial supplies from India into China. The entire war effort in that part of the world depended on these flights getting through.
And the conditions they flew in were just hellish. We're talking about turbulence so violent, it could literally flip a plane over. Flying from scorching jungle heat to freezing temperatures in a matter of minutes. Unbelievable winds and sudden ice storms were just a normal day at the office. In one storm,
They lost 9 planes. 9.
And this is where it all connects. The main plane they used, the C-46 Commando, was constantly being improved back on the assembly line. Stronger frames, better engines, updated parts. Every single rivet hammered in by someone like Naomi Parker, every wire connected, it directly translated into a plane that could withstand that punishment and bring its crew home. Quality wasn't just a goal, it was a lifeline.
So, after hearing these 3 stories about data, identity, and quality, what do we do with them? How do we take these lessons and actually connect them to our own lives?
Well, I think there are 3 really practical lessons. First, seek out the hidden figures around you. Who's doing the essential work that doesn't get the spotlight? Acknowledge them. Second, question what you see on the surface. Don't just accept the icon or the headline. Dig a little deeper for the real story. And third, understand that quality has a ripple effect. The care and attention you put in your work, it matters. It has an impact on the whole system, sometimes in ways you can't even imagine.
I think the biggest mistake we can make is just accepting a story at face value. We're constantly bombarded with these simplified icons and sound bites, but the lesson from Naomi Parker is so powerful. Always remember there's a real, complicated, fascinating human story underneath, and it is always worth finding.
So to wrap it all up, Lola Shoup's story is a stark reminder that bad systems can bury the truth and just waste incredible talent. Naomi Parker's story shows us that symbols and icons can often hide the real human beings who made them possible. And the pilots who flew the hump proved that one person's commitment to quality can have profound, literally life-saving consequences.
So I guess that leaves us with a question, right? A challenge for all of us. As you go about your day, try not to just see the end result, the finished product, the neat spreadsheet, the famous logo. Look behind it. Ask yourself, whose hidden work made this happen? Whose quiet commitment to quality is making my world a little bit better right now? Because finding those people, and maybe even just acknowledging them, well, that might be the most profound thing you do all day.